Planning to achieve your goals is the fourth step of the 7 steps to business certainty. I'm excited about the contents of this video, and in it I'll be showing you the 2 principles of business growth, how measuring reveals profit opportunities, and how to rapidly increase the profit in your business without increasing marketing costs. The 2 sides of business growth are these. First of all is analyzing figures that you've measured. Second is strategizing from what that analysis has shown you. Poor analysis leads to poor strategy choice. Therefore, the more you measure, the more you can analyze and the more opportunities you find. Strategy types determine progress. So let's talk about the types of strategies that you can apply. And that's what you can see on this list on the right. Under these types of strategies, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of strategies to grow any business. Business owners often focus on lead generation, but profit strategies are more important. Are your business profits increasing rapidly at the moment? If not, which strategy type are you focused on? Are you testing and measuring different strategies? If you take a look at this, what you're seeing here is a screenshot of one of the measuring tools that we give business owners. And what it's showing is the leads that are coming in and the sales that are coming in from various different lead sources. All those combined to give you a total, and included in that are for do and charge jobs, which is where the price is given after the work has been carried out. To give a total sales for this business of 22, with in sales for the month it's generated $46,960. Now, can you see all the profit leaks and opportunities here? Because to a trained eye, there are dozens of them. And all of them increase profits from what these numbers are revealing. Every one will increase profits without any risk of wasted time, money, and very little effort. Previous customer sales are good if you notice, but this business isn't sending out newsletters or offers to previous customers to actively generate more sales. That's an opportunity. Google AdWords is targeting the wrong phrases. That's why sales results are so low. Retargeting with better phrases would help significantly. So that's an opportunity. The quality of a marketing source greatly affects conversion rates. So working on increasing leads from sources with high conversion rates is an opportunity, i.e. referrals and strategic alliances. The leads can be increased from these 2 areas by introducing attractive offers. By introducing offers into the relationship, it will greatly enhance leads from these 2 sources. Facebook ads capture people early in the buying cycle, and it's showing here with very low sales, so it wastes time. The lead to quote conversion rate is very high, and that means they are wasting time on quotes because their overall quote to sale conversion rate is also low. Qualifying of incoming phone calls will reduce that to take out time wasters, which frees up a lot of time in quotes and also increases the quote to sale conversion rate. The biggest opportunity here by far is sales training. It could increase the overall conversion rate from 33% to 50% or even more. That's about a 50% increase, which is also a 50% increase in total income. The do and charge sales are nice because there is no time wasted quoting, and margins are excellent because it's calculated, or the price is calculated after the work's been completed. Leads from this source are coming in from real estate agents, so finding more is quite easy and very worthwhile. Leads are good from the website, but conversion rates are poor. Good copywriting would make a big difference. For example, taking out the word we. So taking the word we out and substituting the word you about what you'll get, what you'll enjoy, can make a very big difference to the conversion rates and the quality of leads that are coming from a website. So that is another profit opportunity. Just by applying these 8 or so strategies, the figures could be dramatically better. But let's take a look at what could be the result of these strategies being applied. The achievable after numbers look like this. Now you may remember some of the figures, but if not, just compare them to these ones here. Notice the difference in total sales. It's increased from 46,960 to 76,818 just by applying some conservative increases in the various different lead sources here. So instead of just focusing on one area, we're developing and improving a whole bunch of areas at the same time. The difference in the result is this. It's an increase of $29,858 a month, equal to about $358,000 a year, just by applying simple strategies to opportunities. Improving on multiple numbers is the key to huge profit increases. Let's look at even more profit opportunities. We've just looked at a small aspect of measuring sales and marketing to identify profit opportunities. There are a lot more ways to measure to make confident profit increasing decisions by applying strategies. Bigger profit margin opportunities exist by measuring production. Measuring production margins. Let's say we take a business that's turning over $1 million a year and we split it into two types of things that it sells and apply like an 80-20 rule. So let's say that 80% of the turnover of the business wasn't that profitable and it generated a 3% net profit margin. So that when we multiplied that out, we had $24,000 for the year in net profit from that type of work. The other 20%, however, was generating a 12% net profit margin. When we multiplied that out, we found that we were also making $24,000 a year in net profit from that type of work. So it's like working 4 days a week to make the same profit as what you make 1 day a week. And what you see is the net profit figure of what you would see on a profit and loss statement of $48,000 a year. In other words, 4.8% is the net profit margin. Now, 4.8% net profit margin is below our recommended 15% for businesses that are $1 million and above. So we need to increase the net profit margin. Now, we don't need to necessarily increase the turnover, and that's the sort of strategies that we love to teach business owners. We can just stay at the same level of turnover, which means no more staff increase, no more costs, no more overheads, and purely work with what we're seeing here. So let's imagine that this is the case and we accurately identified the 12% net profit margin type of work that this business was doing. Well, when the phone rings, then we find business owners get far more motivated to chase that work, to turn around quotes quicker, to overservice them and spend a little bit more time with them trying to win that type of work. And by doing that and focusing on that, you can definitely increase the volume of work that's coming in. Second thing is that we say, well, people would prefer to deal with a specialist than a generalist in our society. So on the homepage of the website, without really necessarily adding web pages, although we could, why don't we put specialists in or specializing in and make that a very big emphasis? So when people come to the website, in our marketplace, people like to deal with experts, not generalists. So if you position yourself as an expert that's specialized in a type of work, you will get more work from it. So by doing these sort of things, and there are other strategies I won't go into in much detail here, but by doing these various strategies, 6 months later, we could have made a very significant difference to the business. That 20% that was 12% net profit margin could, over time, and this has been the result with our clients, increase to 80% of the work. So $800,000 times 12% net profit margin gives us $96,000. And that 3% net profit margin is obviously way too low. So let's say that we put the price up on that while we're increasing the volume of the other type of work. So we're offsetting that loss, if you like. So let's say that we're only doing 5% net profit margin on that 20% of work now, and we're trying to transition out of that. But look at the difference it makes to these figures. The net profit has increased from $48,000 to $106,000. In other words, it's more than doubled, and the net profit margin is starting to get up to that nice, healthier level of 15% or above. We're at least at 10%. And 90% of businesses we find are under 10%. So we're starting to get at that level where we're starting to solve some of the cash flow problems and freeing up that surplus cash that we need to grow the business, to employ staff. Now, these sort of results are very achievable, but the reason why businesses rarely achieve these sort of improvements in profit margins is because of one thing. They really don't know how to measure production effectively to see these gross margins and net profit margins that are happening by segmenting their type of work that they do. So let's take a look at that in a bit more detail. Here's a screenshot of a measuring tool that we give business owners as well. And what it's doing is segmenting this business into the various types of work that it does. And we're tracking the time, employee hours and time across these different types of work and looking at margins. So by doing this, we can see that the highest volume of work, our landscaping, 241 hours out of that 510, is actually below where we want to be with our gross margin. The other figures are looking okay as well. However, so the green is good, red is below where we want to be. But this is the theoretical because not all the time is being tracked accurately. This is the actual gross margin here of 62%, and by including the margins on the material side of the business, we can actually get a combined overall gross margin figure over here. So this is where big profit margin increase opportunities are found. This is just a month summary. So red means a loss, green means profit. But there's a 16% margin difference from one service to another. Have you noticed that? So the lowest is 62%, the highest is 78% on the service side. And on the material side, there's a 17% difference in the profit margin on the materials. That's huge. That's the difference between a business being extremely profitable and making zero profit. So by finding this, by measuring these various areas of a business, we always find dozens of profit opportunities. We find jobs that are underpriced. We find employees that are not working as hard as they should be, that are not recording their times. They have a bit of apathy, things like that. We find where all the time goes with employees and we allocate that back to the jobs. And then we start to see the true margins on jobs by doing this. Are you seeing the power of what these numbers are all about? Can you see why the magic of measuring is what increasing profits is all about? Now let's take a look back at the principle of the three-legged stool from video 3. In business, you need to get the work. That's called sales. You need to do the work. Let's call that production. And you need to get paid for the work, and that's the cash flow, the cash coming into the business. Now, all three legs measured in dollars each week should be equal for your business to balance, just like a three-legged stool. So let's look at how to keep those three legs in a harmonious balance. What you're seeing here is a screenshot of another measuring tool. And what this does is it tracks those three legs of a business. Get the work, do the work, get paid for the work. So the left-hand side, the green is the sales coming in. The wide band is the dollar figure of sales. The narrow band is the number of leads. Leads turn into sales. The middle one is the production dollars relative to the sales dollars, and they should be balanced, but they typically aren't. The narrow blue is the gross margin on the type of work that's being done for the week. And on the right, we have the cash coming into the bank account for the week. So we're seeing 4 weeks at a time in this measuring tool. Now, the trend is really important in business. So what happens in businesses, we feel a bit of stress because we're never really sure of our supply and demand, our ability to get the work and our ability to get the work done. And we're not really quantifying both sides in most businesses. So in this case, you can see that the sales are trending down. 4 weeks in a row, the sales acceptances have trended down. But more importantly, so have the leads. So if leads are down, sales acceptances will be down because that's the trend. So this is a very big indicator that this business is now overstaffed for the work that's being produced. And you can see that the work is being produced at the optimum level, it's at its capacity. And the cash is tracking okay. But what's happening here is this business is now going to be overstaffed for probably the next 2 to 3 or 4 weeks in this particular landscaping business. So what that means is that the cash reserves will be chewed up because the staff don't have enough work to do. So this business could hit a cash flow crisis in the next 2 to 3 or 4, 5 weeks. So this measuring creates a predictability about the business. You start to see what's really going on. And all it does is keep tracking the last 4 weeks of the business to give you a trend. And that trend becomes your friend. So every time you add a row of numbers here, it drops off the previous week. So you're seeing the last 4 weeks of numbers that are in here. And just these 5 KPIs make a tremendous difference to understanding what this business is doing. Now you're not seeing it here, but each of these 4 weeks compound into a month. So now we can see a trend of 4 months, not just 4 weeks as well. And that's great for businesses that may have a very long production cycle or long sales cycle. It irons out those bumps and still shows you that trend. So this measuring tool with just 5 numbers gives you total control of your business. You see trends every week across all 3 areas. And this is a tool that I even think you should share some of these numbers with the team, the employees that you have in your business, so they start getting a better idea of what's going on. Now, this is just one of the measuring tools that suits a lot of businesses. However, we have very different versions of this depending on which industry that we're working with. So we pretty much built all the tools that most industries, nearly every client that we work with, they fit our tools and we don't have to recreate one for their specific business. Let's talk about even more profit opportunities. We've just looked at a small aspect of measuring sales and marketing and production to find dozens of profit opportunities. Can you see there's magic in measuring and the power of applying strategies to numbers? If you can, that's fantastic, because that's what we call business growth planning. It's not like business planning, which is more of an analytical process. It's about numbers and strategies to grow the business and increase profits rapidly. Real world results. What profits are you missing out on by not being able to use these types of measuring tools to find your own profit leagues and profit opportunities? Could it be $100,000, $200,000, or even more in pure, straight, bottom line profit? What difference would that increase make to your business and your personal life? None of our clients expected the sort of results that we're achieving like this and even more, and they doubted that it would work for their business, but it still did. So why can't it work for your business too? Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to focus on measuring more, and you'll find lots of profit opportunities and leads to increase your profit margins for free. Can you raise your prices? If so, measure your conversion rates beforehand to see if you actually lose sales. By showing business owners how to measure their conversion rates accurately from every lead source, and even conversion rates from the type of work that they're doing in production, we can see if their industry is sensitive or if their business is sensitive to prices by before and after. And often business owners are shocked to see that they can raise their prices and they have no drop of sales, which would be shown in conversion rates. Work on new strategy types that you haven't tried. Flick back in the video to look at the 22 types of strategies and think about ones that you haven't tried or haven't implemented. Consider the next business certainty training. That's where you'll get 50 plus top strategies from the 22 types of strategies included in the training. Plus you get all the measuring tools that you've just seen and more. So what's next? Step 5. Systems for profit growth. Get more free profit increasing content and videos from our website, www.profittransformations.com.